Thanks a lot, and welcome back to the Tuktu podcast, to Community Voices. It's super exciting to have you back on. And the person I'm going to talk to today is Chelsea, and she's amazing for a couple of reasons. One, personally, because I look at her as a mom who's very accomplished and is a leader of an organization that she's trying to grow. Also, she's been with startups, with big impact firms, and with others as well. So this will be an interesting conversation. And number two, I'm really looking forward to learning from her about what it is to balance business with impact, with social and environmental. And for those of you who've joined in for the first time, my name is Rustam. I'm the founder of Tuktu. And at Tuktu, we connect families with help around them. Now, this help can come from individuals or from businesses, but all you have to do is go to the Tuktu platform and you'll find a community for yourself. So, without wasting a lot of time, I want to jump to my guest, who is also a very good friend and one of the nicest people I met in Vermont. I'm so excited to be here. It's Vermont, a fascinating place. And Chelsea is our first guest from Vermont.
Woohoo!
So, let me welcome her. Thank you, Chelsea, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me here, and thrilled to be the first Vermont guest. And we are just so thrilled to have you in Vermont, Respect. So I will say, as you mentioned, I am a working mother, and I can think about all the ways I would love to use the platform.
I want to start with Chelsea. You are the executive director of the Vermont Businesses for Social Responsibility. It's a big name. Maybe just start off by telling us a little bit about yourself for those who don't know you, and also tell us a little bit about social responsibility, what got you in it, and what made you make these choices.
How did I get here? I am the executive director at Vermont Businesses for Social Responsibility. We call it VBSR for short. It just rolls off the tongue. So I grew up in New England, in Connecticut, in a rural part of Connecticut. And I had 11 kids in my grade in a public elementary school. It was a K through 8 school. There weren't a lot of economic opportunities right in our community. So our parents all were either teachers or in the service industry or commuted out to Hartford or sometimes even into New York. And of course, I liked the idea of maybe being able to live where I'd grown up and be around family. But I just didn't see opportunity for myself. And I moved to Vermont. So much of Vermont felt familiar in terms of the landscape and the sense of community and getting to know your neighbors and small schools. But the difference here is that there was more innovation, more entrepreneurship. It was a business community. And Vermont is at that precipice now where we can decide, do we want to be a vibrant community of innovators, of businesses, of young people, young families doing new and interesting things? Or do we just want to be kind of a playground for people who live elsewhere and have their community elsewhere? So that's why I believe that businesses make vibrant communities, and why I get so excited to support the community of innovators and entrepreneurs that we have here.
That's awesome. Chelsea, I want to push you further to understand what made you do that. And that's because it's been my sort of surprise, like, oh wow. I mean, she's really smart. And she could have choices to go into, I don't know, you did what, your degree in agriculture and other stuff. Was pretty loaded up the CV, and I know, having been in social enterprise myself, I know it's a rough journey with a low paycheck. Like, what is that? Is there any incident that happened? Is that a story that you can share?
Yeah, as you mentioned, I graduated with a very interdisciplinary undergraduate degree in African studies, environmental studies, and political science. So I was qualified to do nothing.
Or be a
uh,
senator, or
or no.
literally be a congresswoman. Like, sure.
So I ended up essentially like homeless on a farm north of Boston, and said, okay, like, can you put me to work? And like farming is the original social enterprise. And I just fell in love with the
Wow.
community there, the people who wanted connection to their food, the farmers who wanted connection to the people who are eating their food, the crew, and like that feeling of being part of something. It was also where I saw my first P&L. So the
Wow.
farmer there had this open book management system, and so all of us got to look at the financials and get a sense of, yeah, yes, we know about why we plant the crops that we plant, why we use the organic fertilizers that we use, why we have this community supported agriculture program, but then to see it through the numbers, through their P&L, through the balance sheet, through the cash
Wow.
flow, that was where I was like, oh, I really like business. I like running this report and kind of getting that overlay of, I had like kind of a deep understanding of environmental sustainability, of community sustainability. And now it's like, oh, and this is the financial sustainability. And this is like how you really make change, is make sure that our businesses can stay in business and keep doing this incredible work.
Beautiful. What a remarkable experience. What a great story, right? You talk of farm to table, but this is farm to table to the executive director's desk,
Yes.
right? uh,
Yes.
love that story. I'm always inspired when I hear it. Uh, but Chelsea, like social enterprise is different. So I'd love you to explain it to the audience. Maybe it's just my experience, but I know the work isn't easy. It's hard. And you're trying to do essentially really two different levers, which don't always work with sometimes. So I just maybe expand on that. And also like what motivates you to keep championing other businesses, to focus on community, to focus on impact. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, it is. It is so much work. And so when I moved to Vermont, I fell in love with business, I fell in love with farming, and I fell in love with a farmer. So got married to a farmer, and of
Was it in
course,
the
when
same order or was it in a reverse order? No, I'm just kidding. Please
it all
continue.
got but yeah, so we were living outside Boston. What do you do when you're living outside of Boston and you want to farm? You move to Vermont. And I got the job with benefits so that my husband could do the farming, and I was working for the Agency of Agriculture, and getting to support, again, farm businesses, social enterprises who were trying to connect food, community, and financial sustainability, and did that work for 7 years. And was, again, like, it's just so inspiring to see farmer, these multi-generational farm businesses who were trying to innovate in terms of market, innovate in terms of technology, innovate in terms of like just workforce, and how to keep the farm going and keep it, really, keep it sometimes in the family, multi-generational businesses that were kind of on the brink of, are we going to continue or not? So that was incredibly motivating. I'm a public servant. It is my job to support these businesses to continue and thrive and connect to community, to keep our landscape open and healthy. Uh, I then was working for the Vermont Community Foundation and had a portfolio of work that was both grant making and investment. So I got to kind of broaden the scope of businesses in my portfolio, and yeah, learn really about both nonprofit and for-profit social enterprises, which was an incredible experience. And again, like the hustle, whether it's organized as a nonprofit, organized as a for-profit, trying to do the hard work every day of helping our communities thrive. And no matter what the
Wonderful.
product or service of that social enterprise was, it was that hustle of getting the capital in place, getting the people in place, understanding the market, and always the kind of the common thread was driven by heart and passion and this clear vision that, like, this is what my community needs.
That's beautiful. And it's such a it's also a sequel to what I was going to ask you next because is more about VBSR, and how do you support people who are hustling like this? How do you support, what kind of work does your organization do? Maybe just expand on with an example of a company that really benefited, so that we have a lot of folks in our network as well who are either running social enterprise or working with them, and they might not be fortunate enough to have something like VBSR next to them. So what do you do, and how do you help the ecosystem?
Yes. Yeah. So VBSR is a network of businesses that are all trying to align their business and their values. So these are leaders who are, keeping they want the best for their employees, they want the best for the community, want the best for the environment, and again, like see the role of business to solve these big challenges in Vermont, in the world. So they're solar developers, they are farms and food businesses, there's service industry, there's banks and credit unions trying to capitalize all of these. Uh, Certainly, breweries and food businesses, and
Wow.
across the full spectrum. But again, what aligns these leaders is the sense that business should be a force for social good and can be a source for social good. I like when I talk to young people who are looking to get into careers with these businesses, um, it's just kind of a given for them that, like, of course, businesses should use their platforms and use their products to make society better. And like you started, I remember when we were coming up, when we were in school, there was a question of not should you, but can you? Like, are you allowed to do this, or do you just have to put shareholder value first above any other consideration? And so I am proud that our movement has gotten us to that point that
Wow.
yes, you can. And in some ways, it's like, again, with the young people I talk to, it's not only a given that you can, but it's a given that you should.
That's lovely to hear. And one of the things that's inspired me a lot in Vermont is the young people are
Yes.
so aligned. It's incredible. The young people seem to really want to make an impact.
Yes.
And that's phenomenal. Chelsea, just to like probe you a little bit further, because do want to understand a little bit more about VBSR's,
Yeah.
the different things that you do, maybe the activities that you do to support this kind of a vibrant community. Maybe give us a couple of examples, and maybe tell us what's coming up in the roster
Yes.
as well.
Oh, thanks for the invite. Yeah, I mean, most fundamentally, we are in the business of bringing people together. And lucky for us, that is what business leaders need more than ever right now, is just to be together, be in relationship, whether it's, you know, transactional, making deals, or probably more likely getting inspiration, helping each other solve problems. We also have a strong policy advocacy arm to what we do. So we have a full-time in-house policy manager, and we are really, again, the business voice for making sure that our communities have housing, healthcare, transportation that they need, both to support business and to support our employees.
That's wonderful. It's so organized if you think of it, to have the social business sector also have this kind of an association and get the representation they want, be able to communicate in one voice. So thank you for doing that. And that's also been one of the reasons why I really wanted you to be the first one to talk about it, because you are sort of the conduit, or I would say the glue between different organizations, right? And that's something that I understand, because at Tuktu we try to build a technology with communities, and it ties people to each other. Uh, and so I'll love to get your thoughts about how do you see a platform like ours aligning with a broader vision for a community like VBSR,
Yeah.
where do you see this, is this a natural something a natural marriage together, or is this something that you feel excited about?
Absolutely. Yes. And it's how we started. It's about relationship, and using technology to bring us into real relationship with each other. Because so many times I think technology is used as a proxy or a replacement for true human connection. Um, and it's so powerful to be able to use this
Yeah,
platform to truly bring people together. Vermont, as we've both said, is a rural place, and isolation is a real problem. Our healthcare system is not going to meet everyone's needs, because we are diverse, and there is not every service that you need in every community.
absolutely.
And so that means we need each other. We need to lean on each other, particularly as we welcome newcomers into Vermont, which is so needed. We there's plenty of room to spare here in Vermont in terms of
That's for sure.
yes, yes. So as we do that, and knowing that people may come without those built-in family support networks, like my husband and I did, we were on our own really as we were starting our
Wow.
family and raising kids, and we of course we made those networks within our community.
It's so wonderful to hear, the level of empathy in your voice, Chelsea, is just unbelievable. It's so welcoming. Some so Chelsea, this has been amazing, and I'm sure we can go on and on. But I think what I want to sort of leave our listeners with is something from you in terms of an advice. And we've got all kinds of people. We've got wonderful folks who've retired. We've got folks who are service providers. We've got students. We've got entrepreneurs in the network. Now crossed 5,000 6,000 people. I think what would be very interesting to learn from you is how can they make a difference?
Yes.
So what's one concrete action that you can recommend
Yeah.
from for them?
Yes, and first of all, thank you for doing the brave work of investing and creating and seeing the possibility for Tuktu in this community. The part of my bio that I skipped over was when I left my cushy foundation job to join a startup right in the middle of the pandemic,
Wow.
and ultimately that startup didn't make it. And so anyway, speaking of empathy, incredible empathy for the bravery that it takes to make that leap.
Thank you.
Um, and I think on that note, it's, my maybe call to action would just be more conscious decision making,
Wow.
conscious decision making in alignment with our values. And I think we are told, oh, it's so easy to buy something on Amazon. You're kind of, if you don't do it, it's foolish because you're wasting time and you're wasting money, and everyone needs more money and everyone needs more time. And sure, I'll be like anyone, there's times that I press the easy button and order the thing on Amazon. And at the end of the day, I always feel better when I have just taken a minute to think about that decision. um, and what is a decision here that's going to align with my values? And maybe on some days, like that value is my time. Or like I am going to value the fact that I'm going to save a little bit of this money here and I'm going to use it to take my kid out to ice cream later. Um, but taking a minute to think about, aligning your decisions, particularly our consumer decisions, with our values, I think is incredibly important and something that we can do every day.
What an incredible advice. I think if I could paste it across Instagram, I would do that. This is because it's so simple, right? It is so simple. It is uh, conscious decision making, or really being conscious about the choices you make. That's sometimes that's all that it takes. So thank you so much, Chelsea. This was just amazing. I'm
So,
sure we all will enjoy this. And thank you so much for sparing the time and coming on to the show. Thank you so much.
thank you.